election come July 16 and beyond. In his opening remarks, Chairman of the occasion and President Ocean Development Association, Dr. Segun Aina, stated that the core purpose of any leadership position is service delivery, and anyone who cannot serve the people should not seek any leadership role. He maintained that the event is coming at a time when the people are getting ready to go to the poll and elect a new leader, just as he urged the candidates to always endeavor to work the talk.
What is the role of all of us as leaders in preparing the future, preparing future leaders? Because if we do not make a good effort to try and have a pipeline of leaders, even those parties who we genuinely come forward and lead, not only as government, because government is also one position in government.
While delivering a lecture entitled Osun 2022, a state, its politics, economy and image, Osun Resident Electoral Commissioner Professor Abdulgani Raji tasked politicians to eschew violence and follow due process in seeking redress if they are not satisfied with the process. Joshua Rek also spoke on the need to explore the rich social values of the Yoruba culture and reiterated the commitment of the Commission towards conducting a free, fair, credible, peaceful, and conclusive election.
They will remember you are in vote for you. You have abolished the votes. You have abolished the votes without giving out the common, like developing the economy of this state. That is what we should do.
In their various remarks, President of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, Malam Mukhtar Siraju, Vice President of the NIPR, Mr. Adewale Adeniyi, Director General of OSBC, Mr. Abdulrashid Folarami, President of Osun Muslim Community, Alhaji Mustafa Olawuyi, Chairman, Osun Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, Right Reverend Amos Ogunide, among others, spoke on the need for politicians to always put Osun first in every election.
There has to be an Osun state before it can be laid. If it is destroyed, there is nothing left. Nothing will be left rather.
Please try to be there. Listen to what they are going to say and sign that memorandum so that we can hold you, responsible anytime you ever have with that.
Don't sell your votes. Even if you try to buy it, refuse to sell. I think that will help all of us.
The event featured presentation by the representatives of the various political parties and climaxed with the signing of the Peace Charter.
For the peace and development of our state. So help me God.
Oluchi Amuja, OSBC News.
Still on election matters, media personnel have been charged to be professional and ethical in their reportage of election matters as they are critical stakeholders in the electoral processes. The National Commissioner and Chairman Information and Voters Education Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye, gave this charge at the Independent National Electoral Commission roundtable with media executives in Osogbo, the state capital, in preparation for the July 16th gubernatorial election. Our reporter Omotayo Adebodo has the details.
The roundtable meeting with media executive, which was aimed at sensitizing them on reportage of election as they are key stakeholders in the success of any election in the country. Speaking at the one-day workshop, the National Commissioner and Chairman, Information and Voters Education Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye, stated that the Commission expects the media to hold a balance and process the information that will come from them during election, cross-check and fact-check the information that they receive so as to improve the people's knowledge about election matters. Mr. Okoye assured that Osun State gubernatorial poll will be free, fair, and transparent and will be conducted within the legal framework details, which includes the fundamental laws of the land, Electoral Act 2022 and electoral guidelines. He further stated that beavers will be used for accreditation, verification and confirmation of details of intending voters.
It is important for the media to be very professional. It's important for the media to be ethical in the reportage of issues. This is because we are in a very what one may call a precarious security situation, and we cannot add false fake news, false information and other things that are unwholesome to the security challenges we are having. So it's important for the media to try as much as possible to verify whatever information accrues to them.
In their goodwill messages, the representatives of the National Foundation for Electoral System, IFES, Mr. Wole Ojo, and the NUJ chairman in Osun State, Comrade Wasiu Ajadoshu, said the kind of information media gives determines the outcome of election. They called on media men to give information that would aid smooth conduct of Osun gubernatorial election and pledged continued support for the commission to record free, fair, and credible election in the state. Answers were provided to various questions being asked by participants. The one-day seminar had in attendance INEC officials and media officers from different broadcast stations in the state. Omotayo Adebodun, OSBC News.
Chairman at Takumasa East Local Government Area of the State of Osun, Princess Folusho Adekoya, says she would continue to give the women folk adequate attention they deserved in the scheme of things, most importantly women in all the 10 wards of the council area. Princess Adekoya gave the assurance in Iwara Town Hall while empowering and appreciating scores of women that cut across all the 10 wards of Takumasa East Local Government Area of the state with cash gift and one gift item or the other. Our man Adeni Ikende completes the story.
Addressing the gathering, the initiator of the program, who is also the chairman at Takumasa East Local Government, Princess Folusho Adekoya, has expressed delight at the progressive attitude of the women, young and old, selected from the 10 wards of the council area that have been working assiduously to lift the council area to greater heights in all ramifications. According to her, women are the bedrock of the society, hence the need for any right-thinking personality, especially those in the position of authorities, to give them sense of belonging, which cannot be overemphasized. The Takumasa East Council boss, who was flanked by a political associate, male and female across Ijesha land, maintained that she will not relent in appreciating the women folk in the council area, in particular, and the society at large, due to their advantaged position in the society in all sectors of human endeavors. She stressed that such appreciation and empowerment initiative she embarked upon will be in phases until all stakeholders in the council area are taken care of. Takumasa East Local Government Chairman stressed that our empowerment drive is basically to complement the developmental programs of the wife of the state governor, Mrs. Kafayatu Itola, which are spread across the length and breadth of the council area. Takumasa East Local Government Chairman stressed that our empowerment drive is basically to complement the developmental programs of the wife of the state governor, Mrs. Kafayatu Itola, which are spread across the length and breadth of the state. Princess Folusho Adekoya implored parents and guardians to guide the movements of their children and wards jealously before, during, and after the forthcoming gubernatorial election in the state, so as not to be made scapegoats by the law enforcement agents that will be drafted to the state to monitor the governorship election. In their separate speeches, Pa Kunle Odeyemi, Commissioners for Rural Development and Community Affairs, Honorable Ola Dimeji Olanibe, Political Affairs and Intergovernmental Relations, Honorable Taiwo Akeju, and Engineer Jibola Famuriwa, and other notable figures in the society, showered encomium on Princess Folusho Adekoya for her large-heartedness and kind gesture towards the people of our council, especially the women folk that rallied around her from the inception of our administration. The speakers described Princess Adekoya Empowerment Initiative as first of its kind in Takumasa East Local Government, which is unequal in all fronts. The speakers implored the electorate to ensure that they collect their PVCs and let their vote count for the incumbent governor of the state. Responding at the colorful event graced by who is who in the society, a senatorial women leader, Mrs. Abeke Aluku, eulogized the sterling qualities of Princess Folusho, prayed for our successes in our future endeavors. The program, which was spiced up by the intermittent dancing and singing by the beneficiaries who radiate gladness throughout the period of the program, went on with packs of Ankara fabrics, among other gift items. Adeniyi Kehinde, reporting for OSBC News.
Governor Adegbegbe has lauded Muslims in the platform of Osun State Muslim community for their support for him always. The governor gave the commendation at the 25th anniversary of the creation of the Muslim community in the state. Speaking through the special advisor on education, Alhaji Jamiu Olawumi, the governor said the July 16 election in the state is a clear-cut separation between falsehood and truth, the latter of which he represents. He congratulated Muslims in the state and urged them to remain united for the benefit of Islam. Professor Muslim Yahya, Executive Secretary Muslim Ummah Southwest Nigeria, reminded Muslims that the only sitting Muslim governor in southern Nigeria is Governor Adegbeyegbe Oyetola, urging them to be united towards the governorship election in the state. Pro-Chancellor Osun State University Malam Yusuf Olaolu Ali told Muslims to be wary of those clamoring for the dismemberment of Nigeria, stressing that the agitator have no good plan for Muslims and the country. He charged Muslim parents to teach Islam morals and ideals to their children and teach them to stick to search whenever they find themselves. President Osun State Muslim Community, Alhaji Mustafa Olawuyi, thanked Governor Adegbeyegbe Oyetola and all Muslims in the state for their unflinching support for the community. He prodded Muslims in the state to share their philanthropic gestures with Osun State Muslim community to achieve its lofty dreams. Osun State Governor Mr. Adegbeyegbe Oyetola has reaffirmed his administration's commitment in promoting qualitative healthcare delivery for residents of the state. Governor Oyetola stated this at a 2-day retreat organized by Osun State Primary Healthcare Board with the theme Integrated Primary Healthcare Service Delivery in Osun, Way to Green. Our reporter Oluwatobiloba Odunuga now reports.
Accessibility to healthcare facilities has generally been identified as a major indicator of development, and the existing spatial pattern of distribution of healthcare facilities which play a prominent role in gauging the level of efficiency or otherwise of the existing level of provision of these facilities within any region. To this end, the Osun State government, under the leadership of Governor Adegbeyegbe Oyetola, has intensified its efforts at ensuring the good upkeep of its citizenry with a 2-day retreat organized by the State Primary Healthcare Board in conjunction with the Sidani Group. In his address at the retreat, Governor Oyetola maintained that different measures have been put in place by the revitalization of all 332 primary Accessibility to healthcare facilities has generally been identified as a major indicator of development, and the existing spatial pattern of distribution of healthcare facilities which play a prominent role in gauging the level of efficiency or otherwise of the existing level of provision of these facilities within any region. To this end, the Osun State government, under the leadership of Governor Adegbeyegbe Oyetola, has intensified its efforts at ensuring the good upkeep of its citizenry with a 2-day retreat organized by the State Primary Healthcare Board in conjunction with the Sidani Group. In his address at the retreat, Governor Oyetola maintained that different measures have been put in place by the revitalization of all 332 primary healthcare centers in the state so as to make available qualitative and affordable healthcare facilities for the masses. The governor, who was represented by the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Rafiu Samotu, urged the health officers to keep giving out their best in their services to humanity.
I believe in that dictum of to whom much is given, much is equally expected. If the state government, despite the fact that we have access to limited resources, yet Mr. Governor, has been able to do this much. So I think it is imperative for the workers, especially those who are in my own jurisdiction, the health workers, for them to rededicate themselves and make sure that they discharge their duties as it is expected.
In their goodwill messages, the chairman of Osun State Primary Healthcare Board, Honorable Eke Ogunshola, Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Health, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode, Executive Secretary of Osun State Primary Healthcare and Development Board, Dr. Ismail Subar, among others, described the two-day retreat as timely in allowing stakeholders in the health sector to reassess the work done so far and project for the future.
Going to bring about better quality healthcare delivery service to our people at the grassroots.
They should be committed, show diligence, professionalism, and passion for the healthcare delivery.
Others include the representatives of the UNICEF, World Health Organization, WHO, the Challenge Initiative, TCI, and the Sidani Group, among others, who reiterated their commitment and support towards achieving the mission of the integrated primary healthcare service delivery in Osun State Way to Green. In her remarks, the Director of Medical Services and Disease Control of the State Primary Healthcare Board, Dr. Adebukola Olujide, maintained that the two-day retreat is to share the importance of integration of primary healthcare services, adding that all healthcare workers should be able to cater for all services out of his or her field. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga, reporting for OSBC News.
A sincere apology for the break in transmission during the course of that report. It was due to technical hitch. Stakeholders in the business of food production have been advised to see the bio-fortified crops and food as an alternative in production of nutritious products. The Chief Executive Officer and co-founder, Cattle Foods, Osun State, Mr. Pelumi Aribisala, said this at a two-day capacity training organized for food producers in the state. Shijuade Additional was at the event held in Osogbo, the state capital. His report is presented from our studios.
The two-day seminar put together by the Ministry of Commerce, Industry, Cooperatives and Empowerment in collaboration with Gain and Harvest Plus is to build sustainable food systems and bridge the gap between agriculture and nutrition. At the event, some of the participants expressed obstacles encountered in the process of producing. The training centered on systemic modern ways of producing various food obtained from plant with adequate nutrients such as gari production, fufu, custard, dankwa, and many more. Speaking at the program, Chief Executive Officer and co-founder of Cattle Foods in the state of Osun, Mr. Pelumi Aribisala, lauded Osun State government support towards making the state hub of agricultural produce. Mr. Aribisala disclosed that bio-fortified crops and food have proven to be cost-effective ways to complement other nutrition interventions towards addressing food and nutrition security challenges. He maintained that the workshop aimed at equipping the participants with needed techniques that can improve their business capabilities to deliver more nutritious food in the state and Nigeria at large, emphasizing that the capacity training will go a long way in reducing malnutrition in the process of bringing up a child. Stressed that the bio-fortified has capability to make impact at households, considering the pyramid and industrial levels, hence scaling and commercialization of bio-fortified crops so as to affect economic positively.
So this training we have done now is meant for processors using cassava, maize and potato as raw materials in Osun State. So we have now trained them on improved processing techniques for vitamin A cassava, vitamin A maize, and vitamin A sweet potato, so that the food that is being produced in Osun State can be of the best quality in the country, and then it can meet export standard. We can have our people in Osun State eating more nutritious food.
Representatives of the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Empowerment, Gain and Harvest Plus at the event enjoyed participants to put the knowledge garnered to use so as to put to end untimely death in the society.
The Federal Safety Corps, Kano State Command, has cautioned motorists to drive with utmost care to avoid road traffic crashes, especially during the rainy season. The sector commander, Zubairu Mato, disclosed this today in an interview with newsmen in Kano. It was encomium galore all the way as speaker after speaker took their turn at the send-off program for Mrs. Deborah Bola Adeleke on a retirement from the service of the State Teaching Service Commission. A cross-section of those who delivered goodwill messages lauded Mrs. Adeleke for her dedication and meritorious service. packaged by the principal and staff of Olofa Grammar School of Atedo in Egbedore local government area of the state. The event took place in the school premises, while the reception held at a residence. In attendance were all school principals and PTA members in Ede Zone, Mr. and Mrs. Festus Olajide, friends from Atedo, and Agumbelewo, principals and staff of Olofa Grammar School, as well as Bumi and Olabisi family from Ibadan. A similar program was organized on Wednesday for her husband, Dr. Olaiton Adeleke, by Ilarogun Federal Polytechnic Ede Forum. The occasion attracted dignitaries from all walks of life, including all members of the forum, Pa Michael Adeke, Savio Akinola, a legal practitioner, Mr. Oni, as well as Messrs. Shiraju and Lashuri. Dr. Adeleke retired from the service of the Federal Polytechnic, Ede. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, has expressed sadness over the death of Olori Kafayat, one of the wives of the late Alaafin of Oyo, Obalamidi Olayiwola Adeyemi III. The 12th Women Africa Cup of Nations has commenced in Morocco, with the Super Falcons gunning for their 10th titles. Adeyemi Apodere has a rundown to the completion, among others.
All of Africa are in Morocco for the 12th Women's African Cup of Nations as countries battle it out to be crowned champions. Nigeria are the defending champions, having beaten South Africa on penalties in the 2018 final stage in Ghana. Having ruled Africa for a record 9 times, Nigeria are outright favourites to win the 2022 Women's African Cup of Nations. However, the likes of South Africa and Cameroon are understandably considered title challengers. Reigning champions Super Falcons boast a formidable squad, and many of the stars of the 2018 triumphs, such as Asisat Oshuala, Ngozi Okobi, and Onomi Ebi, are once again in attendance. They'll be joined by a clutch of young stars, with the African Women Cup of Nations 2022 providing the perfect platform. Nigerian women are considered massive favourites to rule the continent for the 10th time. 5-time runners-up South Africa follow Nigeria, and they will open to end a 27-year wait for glory on the African stage in Morocco. Much of the focus when it comes to Bayana in recent times has centered on Tembi Kagletana, and the Atletico Madrid star justified that when she inspired a country to lift the Aisha Buhari Cup in Lagos last year. African heavyweight Cameroon are not pushovers when it comes to winning the Women's African Cup of Nations, having placed second on 4 occasions. The indomitable Lioness' embarrassment of losing all matches at the Aisha Buhari Cup no less is something that will not stand, and they'll be aiming to correct that under the captainship of Gabriela Ongwene. Tournament host Morocco are not guaranteed they'll be crowned African queens. Unlike a number of traditional African powerhouses, the Atlas Lioness of Morocco have only appeared twice in the biennial African showpiece, crashing out of the group stage on both occasions.
That was the news across the country, edited by Temitope Olajuwola. For more about us, visit www.osbcng.org. Thanks for listening. Good evening.
You are live. On Osun Radio. Osun Radio. Community radio at its best. 104.5 FM.
Eroya. ojúmọ́ òní mọ́ kórógbòn márùkọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ojúmọ́ òní mọ́ kàtẹ́lẹsẹ̀ ó má tẹ̀nà bójúmọ́ bá ti mọ́ lọ́jọ́ àìkú ọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ó ti di dandan kétòrò yóò gbòde kan láti rédíò Ọ̀ṣun 104.5 FM ilé àwí òkè baálé Òṣogbo ẹ̀fẹ̀ àtàwọ̀dà tó níjùmọ̀ làwọn atọ́kùn fúnṣídẹ̀ẹ́ ètò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wa lábala àlejò wa láti gbàlejò adarí ètò gbogbo tó ń jáde lórí rédíò Ọ̀ṣun tó fẹ̀yìntì lẹ́nu lọ́lọ́ yìí ìyáàfin Bọ́sẹ̀ Báńgbóyè Adéníje níbo ti ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Elédùà fún oore ọ̀fẹ́ tó ní láti pé 60 ọdún lórílẹ̀ àlàyé àwọn ìrírí rẹ̀ ìpèníjà àtàrítọ́ka sí lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ọba ni ó máa ṣàlàyé fún wa. Kọmíṣánná àjọ elétò ìkànìyàn ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun Sẹ́nitọ̀ Mudashiru Oyètúndé Hussein náà ń bọ̀ wá sórí ètò rẹ̀ tó bá dọjọ́ ìsinmi. Ìtẹ̀síwájú pípààlà sáwọn agbègbè ìkànìyàn ní ìpínlẹ̀ yìí ni ó máa bá a sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Bákan náà látúgbàlejò ẹgbẹ́ ọdẹ ìbílẹ̀ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun níbi tá aṣojú wọn ọ̀gbẹ́ni Ahmed Nureni ó ti máa ṣàlàyé fún wa ipa tẹ́gbẹ́ náà ń kó láti mú kétò ààbò fẹsẹ̀ rinlẹ̀ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Abala èdè àyàn eléré wa ayé ọ̀dọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ àtẹ̀rẹ̀ ìdárayá náà ní gbẹ̀yìn lórí ètò rẹ̀ ẹ lè fi ìbéèrè yín ránṣẹ́ sólòtú ètò pẹ́tàlẹ́ sátidé ọgbà bẹ́ẹ̀ lẹ́tọ́ lè ti àwọn àlejò wa láago bẹ́ẹ̀tò bá ń lọ lọ́wọ́ ìpàdé dago 6 òwúrọ̀ ọjọ́ ìsinmi èròyà ọba àwọn ètò.
Hello, good day. On Feature today, we beam our searchlight on water. Water is a chemical substance composed of hydrogen and oxygen existing in gaseous, liquid and solid state that is essential to all known forms of life. Even though it provides no calories or organic nutrients, water is very essential to the human body. According to research, the brain and heart are composed of 78% water. The lungs are about 88% water. The skin contains 64% water. Muscles and kidney are 79%, and even the bones are watery with approximately 31% water. Apart from its importance to our body, water plays a major role in numerous household tasks such as cooking, bathing, washing, cleaning and drinking. Interestingly, water plays an important role in the world economy. Approximately 70% of the fresh water used by humans goes to agriculture and fishing. Fishing activities in salt and freshwater bodies is a major source of food for many parts of the world. Transportation, sport and other forms of entertainment such as swimming, pleasure boating, skiing, diving, boat racing, and ice skating. However, how often do we think about its source? Where does our water come from? How is it treated? How do we know if it is safe to drink and use? And its health benefits? Water covers 71% of the Earth's surface. There are two major sources of water, which are surface water and groundwater. Surface water is any water that collects on the surface of the earth. This includes oceans, streams, lakes, ponds, rivers, or wetlands. Fresh surface water is maintained by rainfall or other precipitation, and it's lost through the ground by means of evaporation or used by plants and animals. Groundwater is the water found on the ground, in the cracks and spaces in soil, sand, and rock. It is stored in and moves slowly through geologic formations of soil, sand, and rocks called aquifers. Groundwater supplies drinking water, helps grow our food, aids industrial forces, and a source of recharge for lakes, rivers, and wetlands. Not all water is safe for drinking, as it has to go through a process of purification. Water purification is the process of removing undesirable chemicals, biological contaminants, suspended solids, and gases from contaminated water. The goal is to produce water fit for a specific purpose, like drinking. The method used includes physical processes such as slow sand filters or biological active carbon, and chemical processes such as flocculation and chlorination, and the use of electromagnetic radiation such as ultraviolet light. Other methods include coagulation, which is adding liquid aluminum sulfate, sedimentation filtration, disinfecting, sludge drying, pH correction, and fluoridation. The most common method of water purification commonly practiced by Nigerians is the boiling method. It is the cheapest, easiest, and reliable way of purifying water. Good and potable drinking water can help improve our well-being, as they help creating saliva, regulating body temperature, protection of tissues, spinal cord and joints, in the excretion of waste through perspiration, urination, and defecation, maximizes physical performance, and also help in preventing constipation. Health authorities commonly recommend 8 ounce glasses, which equals about 2 liters or half a gallon a day, to maintain a healthy lifestyle and well-being. There is possibility of having water shortage, and in part, it's already affecting every continent. Around 1.2 billion people, or almost 1/5 of the world population, lives in area of physical scarcity. Now, what can cause water shortage? Global warming, climate change, such as altered weather patterns, deforestation, increased pollution, greenhouse gases, and wasteful use of water. The effect of water scarcity can be grouped into these 4 broad areas: health, hunger, education, and poverty. Less water means sewage does not flow, and mosquitoes and other insects breed on still or stagnant dirty water, which always leads to malaria and other infections. Effect also, water restrictions imposed across board. Poorer communities and informal settlements will lack access to potable water system. Negative impact on greening and domestic gardening initiatives due to water restrictions. Increased fire hazards, polluted river birds, and lakes harm our ecosystem. Particularly in drought-stricken areas, farmers are unable to produce vital crops. A global increase in temperature further exacerbates water shortage, mainly due to both lack of access and poverty. Diseases are the some consequences. Clean water is needed to revive and sustain the human body, while polluted river birds near informal settlement are the breeding ground for malevolent diseases. Added to this severe lack of water resources comes the problem of basic sanitation. Lack of education and access to all other areas of life has also been added as severe consequences to not having access to water. The causes: excess and unnecessary demand, outstrip available and scarce resources. Increased pollution due to excessive and unsustainable human consumption. There is overuse of water across board and in all forms of industrial process. Non-sustainable domestic practices such as leaving taps running when water is not needed and needs to be stopped. Economic scarcity caused by poor or lack of management of existing water resources. Uneven distribution of water resources that have as excess supplies do not divert resources to areas where it is needed more. Aquifers overpumped and not recharging quickly enough. Pollution remains one of the biggest problems. Fair access to land presents challenges of conflict where many people are restricted or denied access to land, whether privately or government-owned, and on which precious water resources may be found. The challenges of distance also remains acute in some parts of the world, where regions have historically experienced dry climates and have had to rely on neighboring countries to supply them. However, there is no problem with that solution. The less water that is used and the more water that is saved will go a long way towards addressing the current shortages. But for solutions to be effective, they need to be implemented vigilantly and even through regulation. Do not keep taps running while water is not needed. Only use what is needed resourcefully. Obey water restriction enforced. Recycle used water as much as possible. More stringent regulation of industrial processes is required. Organic consumption across board needs to be encouraged and prioritized. Mining legislation and fracking needs to be revisited and taken more seriously by government. Education from the ground up right through to the highest level Governments and corporate bodies need to raise awareness of the dire consequences of abusing scarce resources. More sustainable farming practices need to be encouraged. Clean water initiatives usually promoted by NGOs and other active role players need to be supported and funded. And of great importance is the need to repair and improve existing sewage system. On this note, we end our feature on water today. Thanks for listening. Have a pleasant day.
وناديناه أن يا إبراهيم.
ìgbà wo la ṣe màsàlámàtì ya Ramadan tá a tún ti ń kọ́dún léyà ní mọ́ràbà tabarakallah. bí a ṣe ń palẹ̀mọ́ ọdún léyà ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ti fi sabilillah sínú bọ́jẹ̀tì wa pẹ̀lú ṣíṣàgbátẹrù àwọn ètò tó ní láadáa lọ́dọ̀ Allah. àyọkẹ́ láti náà Al-Qur'an wà ń bẹ̀ wá sí lónìrànràn fọdún léyà. àwọn wo gan ló lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ sẹ́ran ọdún léyà. àwọn nǹkan wo ló ṣe dandan fọdún léyà tá a ti sọ dàwàdà. àwọn nǹkan wo sì ní òní ládàá ṣùgbọ́n tá a ti sọ di ọ̀ranyàn fúnra wa. ètò pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ lórí rédíò àti tẹlifíṣàn OSBC Òṣogbo Ilé-Ifẹ̀ àti Ìbòkun tá a lè ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀. pa aṣọ onígbọ̀wọ́ ètò kò díṣe olóore mìíràn lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ní ládàá wọn lọ́dọ̀ Allah. ẹ pè nọ́mbà alága ọdún iléyà ti ilé àwíyé Òkè Baálé Òṣogbo kẹsànwó ìdákọ̀mọ́ fún gbogbo ètò.
0803-460-0970 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0803-460-0970.
Ọtìwé baba, P-Square.
Bage kulili.
Ọtìwé baba, nice.
Ọ̀gìnìdì.
Ọtìwé baba, do me a do you. Ọtìwé
Bage asilili.
Kọ̀ǹkwásá kùtùbà wù. Ọtìwé diwé, no delay delay. Ìyàgò ìyá ẹ̀ẹ́dì sọ̀tìyà. Ọtìwé wọ́n ṣe kó bàjẹ́ gbìrì. Mo jọ bí oyin. Láńdì tí aládìgún kílẹ̀ ní mo ṣe lágbólé orin. Ọ̀dìwé bàbá Sàdákàtà orúkọ rẹ̀. Ọ̀dìwé bàbá mo ṣàfẹ́lá ìdájọ́ rẹ̀. No be by power, no be by might, no be by choice, na by my right. Kò rí fún ẹ, èrò rẹ sí mi. You can never take what belongs to me. Everlasting Father, glory be to thee. Hey, Ọtìwé, Ọtìwé, ìyàgò ìyá ẹ̀ẹ́dì sọ̀tìyà. Ọtìwé, Ọtìwé, no delay, no delay. Ìyàgò ìyá ẹ̀ẹ́dì sọ̀tìyà. Listen, all the way. See as we dey grow, see as we dey blow, no ending. But whether you like it or you no like it, now on Sunday you win. Bagasilili, Ọ̀gìnìdì, Bage kulili, Ndilo. But as a microphone hero, I don't give it them if you don't like me, see no. So don't put the blame on me, Baba God don't bless me, blame on him. And if you try put the blame on him, but the Holy Ghost fire go to rain on you. Bagasilili, Ọ̀gìnìdì, Bage kulili, Ndilo. Bagasilili, Ọ̀gìnìdì, Ọ̀gìnìdì. Ọtìwé, no delay, no delay, no delay. Ìyàgò ìyá ẹ̀ẹ́dì sọ̀tìyà. Ọtìwé, no delay, no delay. Ìyàgò ìyá ẹ̀ẹ́dì sọ̀tìyà. Ọtìwé bàbá, ìwọ ló ń tọ́jú mi. Ọtìwé bàbá, ìwọ ló ń pèsè fún mi. Ọtìwé bàbá, ìwọ ló ń ṣìkẹ́ mi. Àwọn abínú ẹni ìpọ̀ tó wà ló gbé mi borí wọn. Àwọn afojúfẹ́ ni má fọkàn fẹ́ ni. Wọ́n ti rọgbà ayé mi ká tó. Ìwọ ló ní kí máa ṣe lọ. Ìwọ ló ní kí máa ṣe lọ. Mo ṣe lọ, mo ṣe lọ, mo ṣe lọ bàbá bá rí. Ìwọ 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 ẹ má ṣe lọ. Ọtìwé ọ̀gbàgbé ló tilé ọ̀gbàgbé ìyàgò ìyá ọ̀gbẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀.
We spit that and we roll. What the way? I do you? Follow shit. Let me I do you. What the way? We spit that and we roll. Don't you mean nice? What the way? You want on my party right here. What the way? Follow my party line. You know easy. Party rider. I'm a party rider. I'm a party rider. I'm a party rider.
وناديناه أن يا إبراهيم. ìgbà wo la ṣe màsàlámà ya Ramadan tá a tún ti ń kọ́dún léyà ní mọ́ràbà tabarakallah bí a ṣe ń palẹ̀mọ́ ọdún léyà ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ti fi sabilillah sínú bọ́jẹ̀tì wa pẹ̀lú ṣíṣàgbátẹrù àwọn ètò tó ní láàdá lọ́dọ̀ Allah àyọkẹ́ láti náà Al-Qur'an wà ń bẹ̀ wá sí lónìrànràn fọdún léyà àwọn wo gan ló lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ sẹ́ran ọdún léyà àwọn nǹkan wo ló ṣe dandan fọdún léyà tá a ti sọ dàwàdà àwọn nǹkan wo sì ní òní láàdá ṣùgbọ́n tá a ti sọ di ọ̀ranyàn fúnra wa ètò pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ lórí rédíò àti tẹlifíṣọ̀n OSBC Òṣogbo ilé ìfẹ́ àti ìbùkún tá a lè ṣonígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀ bá a ṣonígbọ̀wọ́ ètò kò díṣẹ́ olóore mìíràn lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ní ládàá wọn lọ́dọ̀ Allah ẹ pè nọ́mbà alága ọdún iléyà tilé àwíyé òkè baálé òṣogbo kẹsànwó ìdákọ̀mọ́ fún gbogbo ètò
0803 460 0970 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0803 460 0970.
Run to your voice of the West OSBC Radio 104.5 FM. Iliawi Oke Bale Oshobo. It's a beautiful Saturday evening. It's the second day in the month of July 2022, and I'll spend your weekend. If you went for a party today, hope you're back home. Hope you had a swell time, partying, because Saturday is not for partying in this part of the world. Like they say, Ohambe. I hope you really enjoyed yourself. And most especially now that you're back home, I hope you enjoy yourself listening to OSBC Radio 104.5 FM. And of course, we've brought you a quite number of oldies this lovely evening with Olatu Jojo at the other side of the divide. Together, I promise you a swell time, great moment from now till 12 midnight. So many beautiful programs will be coming your way. We urge you to keep it locked, don't touch the dial. And let me quickly introduce you to some of the lovely programs we've lined up for your listening pleasure on the night shift. Okay, very shortly we're going to welcome you to our commercial service. We apologize for not being able to bring you a program slated for 6:30, and in place of that, I think that we've made that up to you by bringing you a special feature. Thereafter, you've got to listen to lovely, beautiful music. And now at 7 o'clock, we shall welcome you to commercial service, as I said earlier. And immediately after that, we shall bring you a religious program, Christian religion program, where you'll be listening to God's word, Majimi Mogo. And at 7:30, another time to listen to God's word again. Ashore alone is slated for 7:30. And at 8 o'clock, the Yoruba translation of the news across the country will hit the airwaves, and at 8:30 another time to hear God's word. So we have so many programs, that will be that involves preaching this lovely evening for you. And at 9 o'clock we shall welcome you again to our commercial service, and at 9:15 we shall bring you another interesting program, a Yoruba program as well. And at 10 o'clock, the program slated for 9:15 is Ibiayelo with Shino. Shino Always Limited as the sponsor of the program. And at 10 o'clock, we shall bring you another program. It's an interesting one as well, Yoruba program, Beraton. And at 10:30, Erekerido with Tunde Bola Tito. And of course, 11 o'clock, we shall bring you a show which is an interview, personality interview with celebrities, or let me say entertainers. And immediately after, we shall bring you Weekend Splash, and that will wrap up our broadcaster programs for today. So Weekend Splash with Faithio is going to be a last show for tonight. So stay tuned, don't go anywhere. My name is Samuel Papawale. Láti rédíò Ọ̀ṣun 104.5 FM ilé àwí òkè Baálé Òṣogbo akíyàn lùgbọ́ níbo tí ẹ bá ti gbọ́ alákòókò yìí, àsìtò kí n pé a kú pọ̀pọ̀ sí ti òpin ọ̀sẹ̀. Àwọn ètò aládùn ó ní àtúndì tẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ nírọ̀lẹ́ yìí láti àkókò yìí náà ni ẹ ó sì máa gbádùn wa, àti tí a fi ìdánidúró lórí gbọ́nsáfà fún tòní nǹkan bíi aago 12 kù ìṣẹ́jú 5 láṣẹ lédùá. Lórúkọ gbogbo àwọn tí a jọ máa mú àwọn ètò alọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀ kan wá fún yín, èmi Samuel Babale kí n káàbọ̀. Ọlátúnjòjò ló jẹ́ kí ẹ ní àǹfààní láti máa gbọ́ mi. Díẹ̀ nìwọ̀nyí nínú àwọn ètò aládùn tá a ti là kalẹ̀ fún ìgbádùn yín lórí rédíò Ọ̀ṣun 104.5 FM ilé àwíyé òkè Baálé Òṣogbo. Tí aago méje bá ti lò láìpẹ́ yìí lákìn káàbọ̀ sí abala ìpolówó ọjà àti ìkéde wa. Òun náà ni ẹ ó gbọ́ títí aago méje kọjá ìṣẹ́jú 15 yóò fi lò. Tí aago méje kọjá ìṣẹ́jú 15 bá ti lò, ètò májèmógún ní ó máa dé sí etí gbọ́ yín. Tó bá di aago méje àbọ̀ àṣẹ ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run ni ẹ tún gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run lákòókò náà. tó bá di aago mẹ́jọ ìròyìn káàkiri lẹ́wà lẹ́wọ̀n ní àǹfààní láti máa tẹ́tí sí tó bá di aago mẹ́jọ àbọ̀ àkókò ìrànlọ́wọ́ ní ètò tí àwọn máa mú wa fún yín ó for Christ Evangelical Ministry Ayétòrò Òṣogbo olóṣè onígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀ táago mẹ́sàn-án bá lò tí gẹ́gẹ́ tí aago mẹ́sàn-án bá ti lò àwọn ó kì í káàbọ̀ sí abala ìpolówó ọjà wa ilé tó kányìn fún tòní aago mẹ́sàn-án kọjá ìṣẹ́jú mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún ó ní ètò ibi ayé ń lọ ilé tí Shine Always Limited ṣe onígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀ aago mẹ́wàá ètò gbéra tán pẹ̀lú Akínlọ́rí lẹ́wọ̀n àjẹgbádùn tó bá di aago mẹ́wàá àbọ̀ ní ètò ìrìnkèrindò pẹ̀lú Túndé Bọ́lá Títọ́ tó bá di aago mọ́kànlá ní ètò àwọn amúlùdùn pẹ̀lú Kúnlé Sàlámì yọgòrè afẹ́fẹ́ lẹ́yìn náà ni ètò wa tó gbẹ̀yìn fún tòní orin takasúfẹ́ ọ̀nà ni pẹ̀lú fẹ̀tíọ̀ àròyìn pé kí ẹ má yí kúrò ń bẹ̀ fílẹ̀ síbẹ̀ rédíò Ọ̀ṣun ilé àwí òkè baálẹ̀ Òṣogbo náà ni àdúgbò pọ̀ pé ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa. So the time is 7 o'clock from OSBC Radio 104.5 FM. Ilé àwíyé òkè baálẹ̀ Òṣogbo, you're welcome to our commercial service. Ibà tí aago méje ti lò láti Radio Ọ̀ṣun 104.5 FM. Ilé àwíyé òkè baálẹ̀ Òṣogbo akínkàwọ̀ sí abala ìpolówó ọjà àti ìkéde wa. Sacred Cherubim and Seraphim Church ọ̀nà ìyanu lábẹ́ ìdarí bàbá wa wòlíì àgbà MKO Olúgbèmí Àyànfẹ́ Jésù JP ń fi àsìkò yìí kéde àjọ̀dún ìjọ wa tọdún yìí eléyìí tí ó wáyé lọ́la Sunday ọjọ́ kẹta oṣù keje ní ilé ìjọsìn wa tó wà ní Road 20 Adétúnjì Estate Offering Road Nasfat area Òṣogbo ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. À ń gbàládùra pé ìṣọ́ àti ààbò Ọlọ́run yóò dájú lórí gbogbo àlejò tó ń bọ̀ nítòsí àti lọ́nà jíjìn. Ìmọ̀ tó ṣe ọdún yìí yóò ṣe ọ̀pọ̀ rẹ̀ láyé àti láàyè dára. A kò sì ní pàdánù ilé ológo níkẹyìn ayé. Ojú gbogbo wa rọ́dúpẹ́ o lórúkọ Jésù. Olùkéde ní ìjọ Sacred Cherubim and Seraphim Church ọ̀nà ìyanu lábẹ́ ìdarí wòlíì àgbà Prophet MKO Olúgbèmí JP Àyànfẹ́ Jésù. Up artisans ẹ kú oríire o. Gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ oníṣòwò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lábẹ́ àkóso bàbá wa Alhaji Karim Owólabí tí wọ́n jẹ́ ààrẹ fún gbogbo oníṣòwò ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun fi àsìkò yìí kí Honorable Bọ̀sùn Oyintilóyè kú oríire ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ bí wọn àwọn àgbàládùra pé ẹ ó ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún láyé nínú àlàáfíà ìdùnnú ìfọ̀kànbalẹ̀ àti ìlera pípé ìgbà ọdún kan ni o. Congratulations sir. Olùkéde ní gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun lábẹ́ àkóso bàbá Alhaji Karim Owólabí àrẹgbẹ́ oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. Àwọn ẹgbẹ́ oníṣègùn ìbílẹ̀ ń kí ọ̀gá Honorable Ọlátúnbọ̀sún Oyintilóyè fún ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ bí wọn tó kò aston fi àsìkò yìí kí wọ́n pé wọ́n ṣe fún àwọn tí wọ́n ń ṣe fún pàápàá jùlọ nínú ẹgbẹ́ oníṣègùn ìbílẹ̀. Àdúrà ni wípé Ọlọ́run kò ní fi ń sílẹ̀ nígbà kankan àmọ́ lóore o ìgbà ọdún kan ni o. Olùkéde dókítà Ọlátúnjí Maruf Ọláwálé tí gbogbo èèyàn mọ̀ sí Olondo alága ẹgbẹ́.
bóyá lẹ tí ì mọ̀ lọ́sùn nìbò wà àwa la nìbò in fact àwa gangan nìbò àwa ìbò tá a nìbò sì ti pinnu ẹ̀ pé no going back Oyètọ́lá ńlá wa ń bá a lọ ẹ tún pariwo ẹ̀ kí n gbọ́. kò tí ì yé yín gbogbo wa ní ìfẹ́ lódùn borí pé àtòdù ọ̀tìn IBO ìbò nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun Oyètọ́lá ńlá bá lọ ìlérí olúwa ni kó máa ṣẹ lọ ìlérí olúwa èyí ti mú ìmọ́lẹ̀ wá a ò fẹ́ mọ́lẹ̀ àwùrùjù tí ó padà wá dòkun àwa ìbò tó nìbò ìfẹ́ lódùn borí pé odò ọ̀tìn ti pawọ́pọ̀ panupọ̀ wípé kí ẹni afẹ́ Isiaka Gbóyèga Oyètọ́lá ó kà á síwájú ẹgbẹ́ olóṣìṣú ọwọ́ APC nìbò wa ń lọ ní July 16 wìtìwìtì la máa tú jáde yáyá tá a lọ tẹ̀ ẹ́ sójú ẹ̀ níbi táàmì ìgbàlẹ̀ wà fún Gbóyèga Oyètọ́lá láti máa báṣẹ́ rere rẹ̀ lọ ìfẹ́ lódùn borí pé odò ọ̀tìn Oyètọ́lá ńlá bá lọ.
ẹ pariwo Ìgbò.
gómìnà Isiaka Gbóyèga Oyètọ́lá ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú ẹni tí ìlera àwọn ènìyàn ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun jẹ lógún bíi kà sí nǹkan ìpèsè oríṣiríṣi oògùn tó tó 50 mílíọ̀nù náírà sáwọn ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé àti ilé ìwòsàn ìjọba yíká ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ni ká sọ ni àbí gbígbé owó ribiribi sílẹ̀ fún ọ̀sẹ̀ ìlera aláboyún àtọmọwẹ́wẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ àjọ Saving 1 Million Lives Program ṣíṣe àgbékalẹ̀ ètò ìpolongo abẹ́rẹ́ àjẹsára fáwọn ọmọ wẹ́wẹ́ títún gbogbo ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé yíká ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun ṣe ríra àwọn ọkọ̀ lóríṣiríṣi àti irinṣẹ́ ìgbàlódé sí gbogbo ilé ìwòsàn nípínlẹ̀ yìí sísan owó oṣù àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ elétò ìlera gẹ́lẹ́